here, Jim here. Thought I'd give you a boat review, well really kind of a boat update. This is a Tracker Super V16. It's a 2019 model, and it's kind of went through a progression since I've had it. Just kind of started out with the bare boat. When I first got it, I really didn't have a lot of intentions of catfishing. I just started catfishing probably, I'm gonna say, maybe 3 years ago, kind of like when I got the boat, and just kept fishing and got better at it, and took y'all along on the journey. And I'm sure if you go back in older videos, you'll see some crazy things that we did. But from trial and error, the boat has progressed to what it is now. So I want to share with you where we're at, and maybe there'll be some things in this video if you're interested in getting a tracker, to show you that you can take these small tracker boats, you can outfit them for catfishing, and you can have a really nice boat and not break the bank. You can put all the accessories that you put on a bigger boat, you can put right on these trackers. So let's get started on this review. So the first thing, I pretty much tell you what the boat came stock with. So this particular boat come with a Mercury 40 horse stock. It was an option for a 50. This one was on the lot with the 40, so I went with the 40. It came with a Makota power drive trolling motor, and pretty much that's all it come with, and a very, very cheap fish finder. So it come with the motor, trolling motor, a cheap fish finder. That's about all it came with. So let's start at the front of the boat. So the first thing I did was I upgraded the trolling motor. Since this was the power drive with the Bluetooth built into it, you could option it with the iPilot system, and I'm pretty sure that was a $500 upgrade, and the most expensive part of that upgrade was the remote. The next thing I did, lighting. I fish at night, had to have lighting on the front of the boat to get back in the dark. Okay, so we got a light here that's probably about a 6-inch LED, one over on this side, and I've got a light bar there too. Now this light bar, this was two old rod racks that I started with, and they really weren't what I liked. So I repurposed it. I don't throw away anything. Ask my wife. I don't throw away anything, so I repurposed it, and I put this light bar here and made it adjustable, so you can have it low like this when you're kind of going across the lake, and then when you come back at night, you can lift it up, lock those in. I only got one hand to do it with, but you can lock these in. Only got one side, so it's a little crooked, but you can light that in, and these things are super bright coming across the lake. These here hit, if you're going down a canal, something, they'll shoot the bank. Even if it's foggy, you can still see, your bank from these over here. Love the light. One of the best upgrades I've done to the boat was light. Getting back at night safely is a big thing for me, so had to have some good lights on the boat. Next thing, the bimini top. Now, I probably killed that pronunciation, but definitely need this thing when it gets hot. We fish a lot at night, but when we get out here, sometimes it's an hour or two before dark, and that really helps a lot. And believe it or not, that come from Walmart.com. I'm thinking it was about $200 or $300. It's been pretty good. It's been on the boat probably 2 years, and it's been no issues with it, with ripping or tearing. It faded a little, but it doesn't feel like the sun has, made it weak. Sometimes the sun kind of like dry rot stuff, but it seems pretty good. Okay, so we definitely upgraded the fish finders. We started with a smaller Lowrance. It was probably like a 5-inch screen. So right up front, we got a Lowrance Carbon HDS 16, Sweet 16, if you want to call it. This is nice. It really is. They're pricey, but if you can get, I say get the best you can afford to get, and upgrade too, because this went from a lot of progressions. This actually went from the small one to, I think, a 9-inch, and I still got that one. It's just sitting at home. And then it went to a 12-inch, and then the 16-inch. So I've got too many fish finders. Anyway, the 12-inch fish finder, I repurposed it and moved it to the back of the boat. That way, if I'm drift fishing, I can just spin the seats around, turn around, put my onto my map and just see where I'm going, keep up with the depth, keep up with the speed. And it makes it really nice, you know, we're sitting on this island, but it makes it really nice if you're going to drift fish and you want to stay tight on those edges. You know, a good Navionics card or any kind of map card is going to be better than what comes with it. It's a Navionics card on this one. This Lowrance HTS16 does have the active target, and I really like it a lot. A lot of people use it for catching bait. Just a fish right here. But I use it for anchor fishing, and I use it for for drifting. I can see what's at the back of the boat. If I see something really interesting, if I'm drifting, I may slow the boat down a little bit. And if I anchor up somewhere and I just see nothing going on, I'll move. I'll just sit there a little while and just go somewhere else. And the way this active target works is this point right here. This is the back of your boat. This is where your transducer is shining down. So it'll show you 5 feet in front of you, and the deeper you are, the further to show in front of you. And then I've got it set to 40 feet behind. Once you kind of go a little bit further than that 40 feet, let's go 60, you kind of lose, you know, definition of what you're doing. If you want to see up close and high, you know, higher resolution, you can go, you know, not as far back. This is 10 foot back. And maybe some fish that are showing up now that weren't showing up before. Sometimes you'll see that. You can just kind of change your distance, and a fish that you didn't see, you may see it now. I've got the transducer for this on the back of the boat, and I'll show you all the transducers and everything on the back of the boat at the end of the video. When I got the boat out the water, I'll add that to the end, because you're really not going to be able to see it right now. So that's the fish finder setup. Okay, in addition to the lights up front, I do have these 2 small lights here, just on a little switch. That's in case, you know, when I get back to the boat ramp, if I want to see to take things out the boat or put things out the boat. I don't really use this for fishing. I have a Compax light that I'll show you in a little bit that goes onto this pole, and that's what I use for night fishing. Let's move to the back of the boat. This is the business end of the boat, definitely for catfishing. My rod setup is basically 6 rods. I drift fish a lot, I anchor fish a lot, kind of a mix between the two. I don't have rod holders out the sides. I'm thinking about putting maybe 2 up front on each side, putting amongst the rod holders on the tracks. That may be coming soon. Steve Douglas, great guy. I mean, nicest guy I've talked to in the catfish industry. He's been doing it a long time. He tries to make sure everybody's happy as you know you can get. But they're amongst the rod holders, the red and the black. This is I think the 45-35, I'm thinking. And it's on a T-bar basically, and he sells that as well. If you mount these correctly, these will not come off the boat. If you mount these correctly, these rods will snap, I believe, before they come out of there. Now, you may have a little wiggle, but they're not coming off. Basically, you've got a bracket underneath this bracket. So if you just mount all of that right onto the deck, it can be wobbly. I had it actually like that in the beginning, and I had some pretty big catfish pulled this thing almost off the back of the boat. So there's another plate. If you put that plate underneath a board, and then the top plate, run the screws through both plates, put you some screws around the sides, it's going nowhere. Like I said, you'll rip the rods. I think you'll snap them in half before you pull these things out. I've had them on the boat 2 years. I don't think I'll ever have to buy rod holders again. Okay, what everybody come to see, maybe not, because some people ask me about the power poles. Power poles on a Tracker Super V16. Yes, it can be done. And I'll give you a better shot of these. Like I said, toward the end of the video, I'm going to show everything on the back of the boat. I'm going to lift these up so you can get a better look at them. And yes, they're tall. I come across the lake, and people are like, what the world? They're like ladders on the back of the boat. But I intentionally wanted the 10-foot ones for anchor fishing. Basically, if I'm deeper than 10 foot, I'm drifting. So 10 foot is plenty for me, and you'll get about 9 feet out of the Minn Kota Raptors. That's what these are. You can get them in a couple of colors. I got them this red. It matches the boat pretty good, this red. Yeah, I think you can get them in white and also black. They're hydraulic, and they have these hydraulic pumps. The pumps are mounted on my boat on the back right here. And the reason they're like that is because my deck doesn't have much room in it. You can see it's not a big deck. So I put them on the back of the boat. The instruction says they can be mounted, you know, not in a deck. They're water resistant. I think their power poles, those pumps are actually mounted on the top of the power poles anyway. So it does add a significant amount of weight to the back of the boat. Each one, the power pole and the pump, is about 44 pounds, plus your bracket. So you're talking about adding about 88 to 90 pounds, let's say 90 pounds to the back of your boat. It's a lot of weight. So immediately there was a plane off issue with this boat. So I put trim tabs, and I'm gonna show you all that at the end of the video, on the back of the boat. And that made the world of difference. And I think I got some footage with the two I can show you also with the trim tabs and without the trim tabs. I like the pumps here, and I'm gonna show you why I like the pumps here. And before I get into that, since I bought 2 power poles, I got 2 remotes. I got one here, and I just leave it there. And I got it to where it's kind of wrapped in there. You can't lose it, but you can still clip it off. So I got one here, and I got one here since I had the 2. Got 2 power poles that come with 2 remotes. So let's say we're catfishing. Gonna double tap that, send them on down, and depending on your depth, well, it must be about the even depth. So sometimes one's higher than the other, and you can hear those things. They'll keep locking and locking. And what I really noticed about them and really like about them, if you have some rough water and some chop, you can see it still lets your boat kind of ride with waves. It don't keep the back of your boat to where it's just locked down and you gotta worry about waves maybe crashing in the back of the boat if they come in from that way. It'll let the back of the boat lift up with those power poles. You can hear them locking in. So it's not gonna let this boat move unless you run them too deep. Like I said, it depends on the bottom. This is a very sandy bottom right here on this beach. So you probably could go 9 foot. If you were in mud, I would say maybe 8, because they're gonna dig deeper. But when waves come, these things are just gonna keep locking. Okay, so let me show you why I like the pumps on the back. Okay, let's say we got a catfish, he's coming in. Could he get in this power pole? Yes, he could. But he also could get in an anchor rope just running out 50 foot this way and 50 foot out the front. So if you got a big catfish and he's coming this way and you're like, I just don't trust it, he may get in this power pole. Well, since the pumps are back here, you can lift one power pole. Now, if I hit the remote, it's gonna lift both of them because they're Bluetooth linked together. So since you got the pumps on the back, you can lift one, lower it back, and you can see. So let's lift this one right here back up. So this one's lifted. Now we got one. We got one. You can tell the difference, a little more rock, but the boat ain't moving. It's not even spinning. If the wind was blowing, if you had the waves come from the side, yes, it will spin on one power pole. So if we drop this one back down, double tap the remote, it'll drop this one back down because it already knows that one's down, and it digs in. Okay, so we're done fishing. We've done fishing this spot. You know, it's a hassle pulling in anchors. I hate it. That's why I got these power poles. So it's so quick to move from spot to spot with these power poles. You reel in everything, secure the boat, and for me it's just basically probably throwing the because I keep the net up here, I'll just throw the net back on the floor, up button, and away you go, off to the next spot. Just that easy. Sometimes I was setting the anchors and I would use the Hagen Grubbs method, and it's a great method. I learned it from him. You drop one anchor off the front, let the boat drag back, drop another one, pull your front one tight, and you're in the middle, and you don't move. But I'm not as good at it as Hagen, and I would usually get off the spot a little bit of what I wanted to be on by the time I did that. But now it's just double tap. And you're fishing. And it does have a cool factor to it. It really does. I picked these up at Russell Marine. I picked up the fish finders at Russell Marine. They run a lot of good deals. I got the fish finder on a Black Friday. The Raptors weren't on a deal because they haven't been out that long, so they weren't on a deal. It was full price for those. But you will have to get these brackets right here. And I'll show you more of that coming up real soon, right at the end of the video, like I was saying. Okay, this is the compact light I was telling you about. You can see it up there. This one here has the 5 kind of light pods on it, and they come with this telescoping pole. And I just used some pipe clamps, if you can see them right there, and just mounted it right to the console of the boat, and I can just pull that down. And I just used a couple of ropes across. It keeps it steady. I can go across the lake as fast as this boat would go anyways with that light up, and don't have any problems with it. So that's the compact light. Okay, as I promised, here's the back of the boat with the power poles extended out. That way we can get a closer look of everything. So we got the mounting brackets for the power poles right here. That's something you have to get if you're going to get the power poles. This part from right here, and it connects behind the plate of the boat. One on each side. And if you're going to go with one power pole, when you buy this bracket, it comes with a spacer for the other side. It wasn't really hard to put those on with a 40 horse. It wasn't that bad. So basically it was loosening all the bolts and then just taking one out at a time and just kind of rocking the boat back a little bit, and you can get it in there pretty easily. Next thing we got the transducers. That's for your down scan, side scan, and your regular high chirp sonar for the fish finder in the front and the back. Now the Lowrance units can share a transducer signal, but they can't show, I think, the same thing at the same time, or they can't show down scan at the same time or something. So I bought them at come with 2, so I put both of them on there. We've got the trim tabs. These are made by Nautilus, and they're like a composite material, plastic, but they work well. You don't have to worry about them rusting or anything. It's all plastic components, and you'll adjust it depending on you know, if you put it right here, they're not going to push it very far. With my boat, I needed to go all the way there, and when you plane off it, you know, they pop up like that. Next we have you can see the pumps I was telling you about at the beginning of the video. They're kind of just right there. That's the brackets that come with them. And the last thing we have is the Lowrance Active Target transducer. The position I have it in here, this would be like the back scan or front scan if you had it on your trolling motor, and then you would reach back there and just clip it down. That would give you down scan. Depending on where you are, sometimes if you want to go a little bit further, you can click it up a couple of extra notches, you know, to give you a little bit better. But it seemed like with me, with just one notch up the way this boat sits, that works well. So that's the back of the boat. Okay, that's gonna be it for this episode of Fishing and Gear. I appreciate everybody's support. The channel continues to grow. I'm amazed by the support and everything we've getting. Santee Drifters, I am the owner of that. Santee Drifters is growing by leaps and bounds. It's a struggle sometimes keeping up, but I'm working hard. I'm getting orders out really quick. If you order by 11 a.m., more than likely it's going out that day or the next day with 2-day shipping. So check out santeedrifters.com. I don't plug my own website very often because I'm not bringing you here to try to sell you something. I just want to share the fishing trip with you. So till the next episode of Fishing and Gear, like I said one more time, I appreciate everyone so much. To the next episode, we out.